Hello, everybody. Welcome to Justice Served Daily. I wanted to go ahead and do this video because I've seen some debate in the chat and wanted to make sure that we kind of give you all the information, because I know that there are some who are watching who have not been following the case from the very beginning. So it's helpful to go backwards and review everything. And because of the questions and debate and stuff like that, I thought we would cover that. So what I'm going to do is share my screen here. And we're going to go over some things. And I know I've had a lot of questions about some items, so I'm going to try to go back to help people who are new just following this case. So first, I'm going to let us watch a video. This is a Indiana defense attorney. I know that I saw, I'm trying to remember, I know there was another YouTuber who've used his information, and I thought it was good. And he has several videos. Anyway, make sure I get this up here and show you this really quick. He talked about a lot of stuff. He has 6 videos. And he is attorney Mark Lopez. So I want us to listen to this really quick. It's a quick short.
Charged the murder of 2 young girls in 2017. Apparently, he wanted everything sealed, even the fact the case was filed. On that same day, Judge Hot Minute, you cannot even find a richer case on my case at ION.com, which is Indiana's was arrested. I am not aware of any instance where everything is sealed in documents. The charging information and the probable cause affidavit. The charging information is go to trial. This is a basic right in this country. People, including the accused, have the right to know what they're charged with. Delphi murder case.
Okay, that talks a little bit about the probable cause affidavit. And I will be using that when we cover the Richard Allen, because that's what he's talking about. But he really has a lot of information that he can talk to as about probable cause and about if there's actual charges. And that's important because those are different. And we're going to look at that. So I'm going to switch this to just my screen. And we're going to go in here. Okay, so we're going to cover the Delphi murders, the probable cause affidavit that was used to search Ron Logan's house. Now, the specific probable cause affidavit that we're looking at is for the search done and issued on March 17th of 2017, because I would like to point out that Ron Logan's property, meaning land, and that had been searched earlier. Inside his house had been searched prior. And then this was an additional, very specific probable cause affidavit. So I want to kind of point that out. And let's see here. Okay, so I just thought I would include this in here. There are updated versions of the Indiana Code for probable cause in 2021, but we have to go back to look at what the probable cause and law is in Indiana in 2017. So this kind of includes about a probable cause affidavit or oral presentation under oath, record, determination, detention, or release. So the act or before the initial hearing of a person arrested without a warrant for a crime, the facts upon which the arrest was made shall be submitted to the judicial officer. In probable cause affidavit, in lieu of the affidavit or in addition to, the facts may be submitted orally under oath to the judicial officer. If facts upon which the arrest was made are submitted orally, the proceedings shall be recorded by a court reporter, and upon request of any party in the case or upon order of the court, the record of the proceedings shall be transcribed. If the judicial officer determines that there is probable cause to believe that any crime was committed and that the arrested person committed it, the judicial officer shall order that the arrested person be held to answer in the proper court. If the facts submitted do not establish probable cause, or if the prosecuting attorney informs the judicial officer on the record that no charge will be filed against the arrested person, the judicial officer shall order that the arrested person be released immediately. So that's some information about probable cause initial hearing. So we're going to get into this. So again, this is issued for March 17th. So Nicole Robertson swears or affirms that she believes and has good cause to believe. I highlighted those because remember, this is the officer, in this case, trying to convince the judge that in their belief, in their professional opinion, they believe this is true. So it doesn't mean that it's fact or that they'll find it, but this is what they believe they may find. So it has good cause to believe evidence of a homicide is located in the residence of Ronald Logan, located at, Delphi, Indiana, situated in the county of Carroll in said state, which is described as a white two-story single-family dwelling situated in the county of Carroll in said state, including the detached garages, outbuildings, or a white Ford F-250. You got the VIN number, states as follows. Nicole Robinson, am a special agent. I don't know why that seems so right. With the Federal Bureau of Investigations and have been employed as such for 12 years. prior to her appointment as an FBI agent. And then we're going to go further. I'd also like to acknowledge this probable cause affidavit that was served on Ron Logan. This information was received and being used from the Murder Sheet podcast. And I show that as the source across the probable cause affidavit information we'll be reviewing. And please go check them out and check out their information that they share. They're really good. So Nicole Robinson was employed as a Sauk Village, Illinois police officer for approximately 6 years. Nicole Robertson is assigned to the Maryville Resident Agency and currently participates in the investigation of all violent crimes. So Nicole is located in Maryville, Indiana. That's up in the northwest part of the state and close to Chicago. So on February 13th of 2017, at approximately 1 p.m., juvenile victims, hereafter referred to as LG and AW. That makes me sad that it's that way, but I guess it's easier. But Libby German and Abby Williams were taken to the Monon High Bridge Trail located in Delphi, Indiana. LG and AW were walking the trail in the area of County Road 300 North and 575 West near latitude 4035, 21.4, longitude 8638, 23.3 at approximately 2:13 p.m., which was the time of the last contact with LG and AW by cellular device. The victims were to be picked up by a family member at 3 p.m., and the victims never met the family member. Approximately 5:30 p.m. was the last successful ping of the cellular phone by AT&T. The victims LG and AW were located deceased on February 14th of 2017 at approximately 12:17 p.m. at the above listed latitude and longitude, having been the victims of murder in accordance with the Indiana Code 35-42-1-1. A suspect has been developed of a white male wearing a blue jacket with a heavy physical build, wearing a cap and blue jeans. The development of this suspect was made by a 43-second video taken on LG's phone, we all know that's Libby, where the suspect follows the victims as they are walking on the Monon High Bridge Trail. Near the end of the video, the suspect speaks to the victim, saying, "Down the hill." It sounds as though he is directing the victims to leave the trail they were on and enter the wooded area below. No person has come forward and identified himself as the person who met the victims and made the statement in LG's video. Therefore, it is believed that person in LG's video participated in the killings. Images of the suspect have been broadcast on the news media since February 15th of 2017 as a person of interest. So remember, when this search warrant is being held, this is in March of 2017, right after the incident. So they're going off of what they know and stuff right there at the moment, only then in March of 2017. And the other searches that took place, obviously the first search that took place of just his land took place when they were searching for the girls, because they were going all over the woods there, and he has land that's obviously connected to that. LG and AW are presumed to have made contact with the unknown male at approximately 2:13 p.m. based upon analysis of LG's cell phone, which recorded the video. So we did know that and learn that at 2:13, that's when that video was taken of Bridge Guy walking towards the girls. So on February 14th of 2017, at approximately 12:17 p.m., victims LG and AW were found dead with wounds caused by a blank weapon on the property owned by Ronald Logan. A large amount of blood was lost by the victims at the crime scene. Because of the nature of the victim's wounds, it is nearly certain that the perpetrator of the crime would have gotten blood on his person or clothing. The location of this crime scene is approximately 1,400 feet from Logan's residence. So here they describe that Logan is a 77-year-old male at the time of this murder. Logan's physical build is consistent with that of a male suspect videoed by LG on the Monon High Bridge Trail. Logan owns farmland and cares for large farm animals. Okay, Logan appears to be in good physical condition. Logan has been interviewed several times. His voice is not inconsistent with that of the person in the video. It was discovered that the blank of one of the victims was missing from the crime scene, while the rest of their clothing was recovered. It also appeared the girls' bodies were moved and staged. Based upon my training and experience, it is common for perpetrators of this type of a crime to take a souvenir or in some fashion memorialize the crime scene, whether by photos or electronic or digital methods they're downloaded onto computers, storage devices, tablets, phones, iPad devices, or other electronic devices that store data for later viewing, scanning, or copying. Well, we know from true crime, that that's a normal for a perpetrator that would do that. LG and AW have no visible signs of a struggle or fight. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators located unknown fibers and unidentified hairs, which may later be used for comparison of similar fibers or hairs. Logan's owns numerous weapons, including handguns and knives, that were observed by LEO, law enforcement, is what that stands for, law enforcement officers, during the execution of a search warrant that took place at his home on March 6th of 2017. So Logan's home was searched as a result of a probation violation. The search was limited to the discovery of firearms and included only his main residence. So I just want to point that out because they discovered that he violated his probation for DUIs, and he's not supposed to be driving a vehicle at all. So when they discovered he lied, stating that somebody else drove him someplace, they find out actually he was driving, which is violation of his probation. So on March 6th, they served a search warrant for inside his home as violation of probation. He was put in jail during that time for the violation of that probation. On February 14th, which is the date that they go back to search that morning of 2017 at approximately 9:20 a.m., Logan contacted his cousin, blank, Logan asked Blank to tell the police that Blank came to Logan's home between 2 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. on February 13th to pick Logan up. Logan further told Blank to say that Blank drove Logan to an aquarium store in Lafayette, Indiana. Logan told Blank to say they returned home to Logan's house between 5 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. So that's obviously interesting because he's lying to the police that on the 13th, that he's not driving himself around, that, somebody else is driving him around, and he's gone approximately when the encounter happened, right, on the bridge, and then, later that day. So, is that a lie to cover him driving, that he wouldn't have got the DUI probation violation that he got? It could be. So on February 14th, 2017, while requesting consent to search Logan's property, a law enforcement officer advised Logan that law enforcement officers would not search his home unless evidence led law enforcement officers to Logan's house. And that meaning Logan told the law enforcement officer that he did not think evidence would lead them to that, but said, I don't know. So a receipt from the Aquarium World in Lafayette, dated February 13th of 2017, with a checkout time of 5:20 p.m., was found in Logan's home on March 6th of 2017. So that's the search they did for violation of probation, right, for driving the car, was the March 6th search warrant. And they found the aquarium receipt dated February 13th, but it was a checkout time of 5:21 p.m. So that shows he was there, but it still showed, timing and stuff like that on there they needed to watch. So again, this is March 6, 2017, during a probation violation search. So Logan resides approximately 22 miles from the store, the aquarium. It would take approximately 30 minutes to get to the store from Logan's home. So on March 6th, 2017, during the probation violation search, during that interview with law enforcement, Logan said he was picked up by Blank around 3 p.m. and taken straight to the aquarium store in Lafayette. So in the March 6, 2017 interview, Logan said after he was done at the aquarium store, he was driven straight home. These statements were obviously found to be factually false and intentionally designed to deceive law enforcement officers. So on March 7th, 2017, Blank was interviewed by law enforcement. Blank told the law enforcement officer that he was with Logan on Monday, February 13th of 2017, and that Blank drove Logan to the aquarium store in Lafayette. On March 9th of 2017, Blank was interviewed by another law enforcement officer regarding the trip to the aquarium and Logan's request. Blank explained that Logan had never asked Blank to lie for him in the past. So Blank knows, there we go, that Logan has been driven his vehicle while on probation, is prohibited from doing so. And Blank also said that Logan did not ask him to lie for Logan. Let me read that again. So Blank also said that Logan did not ask him to lie for Logan when Logan drove to the transfer station earlier in the day. So on March 12th, 2017, explained in an interview to a law enforcement officer that Logan called him on the morning of February 14th of 2017 and asked him to provide the alibi for Logan's drive to the aquarium in Lafayette. This phone call was made prior to law enforcement officers' discovery of LG and AW's deceased bodies. Based on investigators' experience, it is reasonable to believe that the creation of an alibi prior to the discovery of a crime indicates culpability or knowledge of the crime. Again, that's in the law enforcement's opinion. Blank said he thought the photograph of the male that was released by the media of the man on the bridge looked like Logan. Law enforcement officers learned that Logan had driven on February 13th, 2017 to the transfer station in Delphi, Indiana to drop off trash. The video from the transfer station shows Logan driving his white Ford pickup between 11:27 and 11:32 a.m. The videos from the transfer station appear to be off by 26 minutes, putting Logan at the transfer station from approximately 11:53 a.m. to 11:58 a.m. So, Logan did not ask Blank to provide an alibi for his drive to the transfer station on February 13, 2017. Logan only asked Blank to provide an alibi for a trip that would have occurred at this time of the apparent abduction of LG and AW. On March 18th of 2017, Blank was interviewed by law enforcement officers. Blank met Logan about 7 or 8 years ago. Blank was in a personal relationship with Logan for a couple of months and would stay with him in his home on the weekends. Blank left Logan after he became physically abusive. And during her interview, Blank explained that Logan continued to stalk and harass Blank after their breakup. During their relationship, Logan had dragged Blank out of her car by her hair, and Blank still fears Logan. Blank has not had contact with Logan in approximately 2 years, Blank told interviewers. That Logan had told her in the past that he could kill her and no one would find her body. So during her March 8th, 2017 interview, Blank said that she knew Logan carried a gun everywhere he went. Blank knew that Logan would carry a gun in a fanny pack. Blank described Logan's fanny pack as one made out of a nicer material. During her March 8, 2017 interview, Blank told law enforcement officers when she first saw the photograph of the man on the bridge that she thought police were looking for Logan because she thought the photograph was Logan. Blank did not initially realize the photograph was that of a suspect. So, a call placing Logan's cell phone produced cell tower data that shows Logan's cell phone appears to be in or around his property on February 13th of 2017 at 2:09 p.m., although his exact location cannot be confirmed. The tower data shows that Logan's cell phone was in the Delphi area, in the area of the Monon High Bridge Trail. An analysis of Logan's cell phone data revealed a text message sent from his phone at 7:56 p.m. on February 13th of 2017. Initial exam of this analysis indicates that Logan's phone was likely outside of his residence and in the proximity of where LG and AW's bodies were located. So I just want us to pay attention to a lot of was likely, that can't be confirmed, that type of information, because that would be pointed out by the defense attorneys. You know, they're not sure. They don't know that. They don't have actual proof of that. An analysis of Logan's cell phone data revealed a text message received by his phone at 10:16 p.m. on February 13, 2017. Initial exam of this analysis indicates Logan's phone was likely outside of his residence and in the proximity of where LG and AW's bodies were located. So they're basically saying that Logan is outside of his house. Likely. Logan met with law enforcement officers on February 17th, 2017, while they were on his property. Logan was physically able to get up and down the hill from his home to the crime scene. On March 14, 2017, Logan's former housemate Blank was interviewed. Blank resided with Logan from about September 2016 through December of 2016. Blank was in a sexual relationship with Logan on or off for approximately 3 years, so 2016 to 2019. During the interview with law enforcement officers, Blank said when she first learned that AW and LG were missing and then found dead near Logan's home, her initial thought was that Logan was involved. Blank said in her interview that she feared Logan and even previously told her baby's father if she ever ended up dead, Logan did it. On March 14th of 2017, Blank explained in her interview that Logan had been violent with her in the past. Blank explained that on July 4th of 2016, while at Logan's home, Logan punched her in the face, knocking her down. Blank explained that she was drinking, but Logan was completely sober during the incident. Blank also explained that Logan was angry because she disrespected Logan while in Logan's home. So on February 13th of 2017, LG's family began searching the area of the trail where LG and AW were initially dropped off, beginning shortly after 3 p.m. LG's family and other community members joined the search shortly thereafter. Carroll County Sheriff's Office was notified at approximately 5:30 p.m. So that's the first time that law enforcement is called that day. The family gets there at 3-ish. They're looking for the kids, and then they notify the police at 5:30 p.m. that LG and AW were missing. Once the search for LG and AW began, no one reported seeing any person matching the description of the male on the bridge. The FBI has established a database for the collection and organization of tips provided by the public in this case. A search of the database has revealed 15 tips in which citizens, both known and anonymous, attributed the crime to Logan for various reasons. So remember, they started the database, but this is in March, right? This is within the first weeks after the murder. Based on the above aforementioned facts, Logan was in the area at the time the crime occurred, and that he provided false information about his activities during the crime to law enforcement, has a prior propensity for violence, employed others to assist in deceiving law enforcement, and plotted an alibi for a crime that had not yet been discovered. So now we go into information to be searched and things to be seized, because they have to name it and be broad here. Based on the aforementioned facts, I believe there is probable cause to believe that Ronald Logan has committed the crime of murder, and evidence of that could be found on Ronald Logan's property. The affidavit requests a warrant to search Ronald Logan's entire property located at blank Delphi, Indiana, 46923, described as the white 2-story single-family dwelling, including his detached garage, outbuildings, and vehicle, the white Ford F-250, we have the VIN number, for evidence related to the murders of LG and AW for the following property. Any and all evidence pertaining to a murder, including clothing, forensic evidence, blood, seen and unseen, hair, bodily fluids, seen and unseen, fibers, weapons, including guns and cutting instruments, electronic devices used to produce the cellular signals detected by law enforcement in the area of the crime scene, animal hair samples, computers and computer equipment, digital storages, devices, tapes, cassettes, cartridges, streaming tape, commercial software and hardware, computer disks, flash drives, disk drives, monitors, computer printers, modems, tape drives, disk application programs, data disk, system disk operating systems, magnetic media floppy disk, computer software, hardware and software operating manuals, tape systems and hard drives and other computer-related operation equipment, digital cameras, scanners in addition to computer photographs, graphic interchange formats and or photographs, undeveloped photographic film, slides, or other visual depictions of such graphic interchange format equipment, and the data storage within, my little box is blocking me here, within these materials, which has been used or may be used to store evidence of the crime. Research ways to conceal a crime or destroy a crime scene. 5 is records, documents, writings, and correspondence containing information about the crime scene, or any individual involved in the crime. 6 is any and all tablets, phones, iPad devices, and any and all other electronic devices which may contain digital data. 7, any and all computer data, including but not limited to photographs, videos, documents, emails, and sound files, which may contain evidence of the violations of the criminal statutes listed at the beginning of this affidavit. I affirm under penalty of perjury, as specified in IC 35-44.1-2-1, that the foregoing representations are true. Dated March 17th, So of 2017, and this is signed by Nicole Robertson of the FBI. So here is when this is showed that it's entered, March 17th, 2017, that they approve the probable cause affidavit for them to go search, right? Telling that they are authorized and ordered in the name of the state of Indiana with the necessary and proper assistance to enter Ron Logan's entire property located at his address in Delphi. Again, it's the 2-story single home dwelling, including the garage, the outbuildings, and the Ford truck, for evidence related to the murders of LG and AW, and diligently search the following items. So 1, any and all evidence pertaining to the murder. They go into including the clothing, forensic evidence, the blood, unseen. They're basically repeating the same thing. Fibers, weapons, guns, cutting instruments, electronic devices used to produce the cellular signals detected by law enforcement in the area of the crime scene, and animal hair samples. So 2, this I'm not going to reread for you and have to go back through, but this is basically listing all the digital devices, storage devices, right? Computers, floppy disk, interchange formats, photographs, anything such as that is that full list again. Used to conceal a crime. 3, records, documents, writings, and correspondence containing information about the crime scene, or any individual involved in the crime. 4, any and all tablets, phones, iPad devices, and any and all other electronic devices which may contain digital data. You are ordered to seize such property or any part thereof found on such search. So, and then this is signed by Judge Diener, or Diner, don't know how you produce it. It's in his office, let's put it that way. But it's signed by Curtis Fouts. As you can see, he's acting in the behalf of that. But Benjamin Diener, that judge, is the one who's been signing documents and stuff like that for the court. And he's the one who just stepped back from doing the Richard Allen case. So, now we know that the probable cause affidavit is what the officers have to use and that they believe is true, right? So they believe this is true based on their experience. They know this is what a criminal would keep or have or whatever. Obviously, there's suspicion, for covering up on the day of, because, they're asking everybody, hey, where were you on the 13th? So, but let's see what facts that we actually learned. So what we already know that is true, is confirmed. So 1, we know no person has come forward and identified himself as the person who met the victims and made the statement in Libby's video. Therefore, it is believed that person in Libby's video participated in the killings. So they said that in there. So in March, they had nobody who came forward. And obviously, we're sitting here 5.5 years later, and nobody came forward to ever say that they were Bridge Guy, right? We know that. But this is in March. Remember that. This is early, like weeks after, right? Within just about a month after. 2, the bodies of Abby Williams and Liberty German were found dead on Ron Logan's property, 1,400 feet from Logan's residence. We learned that. So we know that in the property and land of his house, that the back of that land goes up there, all the way out there, across on the water, and it's down on his property. So he's living right there. The victims were, I hate to call them victims either, Libby and Abby were taken and ended up on the edge of Ron Logan's property. So we know that for a fact. We know that it was 1,400 feet from his residence and that's where they were found. The third was we learned from the probable cause affidavit, because they know this, right? They already know this from information. A large amount of blood was left at the crime scene. So that was new for them to share that piece in that probable cause affidavit. Number 4, because of the nature of the victim's wounds, it is nearly certain that the perpetrator of the crime would have gotten blood on his person and clothing. So because of the way the crime scene was and the amount of blood, and actually this would have been new information for us to learn just because of how they found the girls. So 5, it was discovered that one of the blank of the victims was missing from the crime scene, while the rest of their clothing was discovered. So we do know that something was taken of the girls. So they're saying everything else is fine, but something of the victims is gone. 6, it also appears that the girls' bodies were moved and staged. So that was new information at the time that came out in the probable cause. Libby and Abby had no visible signs of a struggle or fight. That one's interesting to me. It could be just as simple as, okay, there was no struggle and fight, and they were taken down there, and then they were just, murdered. I don't know. That's hard to listen to. I don't know, that they wouldn't have fought. Obviously, they just didn't willingly let this happen. We all know. But that's just interesting to hear. Number 8 is during the processing of the crime scene, investigators located unknown fibers and unidentified hairs, which may later be used for comparison of similar fibers or identified hairs. Okay, when this probable cause affidavit come out, that's new. That's confirming that we know that there was fibers collected and unidentified hairs. Well, we do know that they're taking animal hair, right? It talked about that in there. So we learn about that as new information at the time that this was released. So this is way back, March 2017, this happened. This is what's being said. So on March 6, 2017, Ron Logan's home was searched due to a probation violation. The search was limited due to this discovery of firearms and included only his main residence. So this was new back in that sense that when they searched, they did have a house search prior to that on March 6th. So just to keep in line when all of these searches happen. So on February 14th of 2017, Ron Logan contacted his cousin asking Blank to tell police. Came to Logan's house between 2 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. on February 13, 2017 to pick up Logan. Logan further told blank to say that blank that we learned in the probable cause affidavit, and that we learned in this, because we learned that he is lying. He is covering up on the 13th, that he wants him to lie, to say that he drove him to the aquarium and what times he's trying to cover for. So it's the next day. They haven't found any bodies and stuff like that, but they know the girls are missing on the 13th. They tell him in order to search his land, they are searching his land, there. So they're telling him, we're looking. So on February 14th of 2017, while requesting the consent to search Logan's property, a law enforcement officer advised Logan that law enforcement would not search his house unless evidence led law enforcement to his home. And remember, that's when he said, it shouldn't lead here, but I don't know. So 12 is a receipt from the Aquarium World in Lafayette, dated February 13th of 2017, with a checkout time of 5:21 p.m., was found in Logan's home on March 6th of 2017 during a probation violation search. So we learned that they did find this receipt, and they did take that receipt during the search. So multiple people stated that Bridge Guy, I don't know how I missed that one. Bridge Guy stated that he looked like Logan on the bridge in the video. So remember, they had some tips and then some anonymous tips that came forward saying about the video. They thought, in their opinion, it was him. So when we go back, and we look at that, again, this was not new, big information. Although we didn't see this till much later, the police had already conducted this right away, right? So the police had been searching properties, had been searching land. They, people were looking around on the 13th, obviously. Then the police specifically go and tell him, we're searching your land. I say it that way because they're searching everything. They're not going inside his house or anything like that unless the evidence leads to it, is what the officer said. So I think obviously the statements that people say that they're, violent in this probable cause is horrific. But the probable cause affidavit, they have to go search to find the evidence. So we have to remember that Ron Logan did get arrested for the probation violation. They did do a first search because of that on March 6th. They search his land on February 14th. They come in back and find he lies. They go in, they do a search when they're arresting him for his violation of probation. And then we have the other search that is held here. So, and obviously Ron Logan was not arrested at the time. Now, I know that there's lots of people who have theories that believe Ron Logan did this or Ron Logan did that. Some of that information, when you read the probable cause, for me, is that it says in that officer's opinion, obviously, especially when we see what perpetrators will take things and stuff like that. So you learn what they're looking for. We learn because of what they had found by that point, what were they looking for? And it does make common sense to me that they're going to search Ron Logan's property because the girls were found 1,400 feet away. Now, it would make me wonder, I know there's people who have theories that he did it or think he, some level of involvement. I just question whether he would then have the girls' bodies on his own property, because that doesn't make sense to me. So, and for those of you who don't know and are new following the case, and we're going backwards. We're going way backwards because, again, this is served March 17th of 2017, that Ron Logan has passed away. So there's a lot of videos out there of him being interviewed by the news, by lots of people that you can catch, and you can see him talking. And at that time, people were saying, he looks like Bridge Guy. That is his property, so I could imagine that people have seen him walk around there quite a bit because that's where he lived. And some similarities because that video is not a very clear video. And between the two sketches, we had a lot of people who looked through that. So I wanted to share the details of what I found interesting, that we at least learned in facts that the police had and have, and some facts that we did learn about Ron Logan, right? We did learn about him lying for an alibi. We learned that he was not supposed to be driving because he was on probation for DUIs, that he got arrested for those DUIs, and that they searched his house based on some tips and some anonymous tips that said, it could be Ron Logan. So I appreciate you joining me. I hope that was helpful for anybody new to the case. And I wanted to get this out there for you. And I appreciate you joining me. And let's continue to make sure that justice is served daily. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you.